GST has changed again. 3 slabs, 5%, 18% and 40%. Yes, that's the headline. But do you know where actually you can save your money and where you can end up paying more? At the first glance, it may look just the reshuffle of numbers. But the real story is not about the numbers. It is the reasoning behind them. Why did the government reset GST? What psychology drives this slab? And most importantly, how you should, the common citizens, the middle class and the business owner, understand this. Because GST 2.0 is not about tax reform. It is a behavioral blueprint for the nation. It reveals how India wants to protect the vulnerables, empower its engine of growth, and instill discipline, all through the numbers on your bill. So let us decode step by step, slab by slab, and what GST 2.0 really means for you and the nation. Namaste friends, I am Rohini and you're watching the knowledge series of fincash.com. Do you know your toothpaste, hair shampoo, hair oil and toilet soaps are now taxed at 5% and not 18%? That's not a supermarket discount. That's GST 2.0 in action. These are everyday savings that will show up on your monthly bill. Until now, we had multiple GST slabs, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. But from 22nd September, the GST Council have made a simple structure. So let us look at these slabs. The nil rate, what we termed as the protected zone. Items moved to nil include your individual health and life insurance, 33 life-saving medicines and certain educational essential and some dairy items. Nil means no GST at all. This is intended to protect your health, education and critical nutrition. The 5% GST slab, that is the merit and essential slab, it is the basic food staple, the main dairy items, certain baby products and daily personal care items, some medicine devices and basic healthcare equipments. This keeps survival and frequent use items very affordable. The 18%, what we term as the growth slab, it is the standard rate for most middle class consumption. It includes many electronics and home appliances, dining out, OTT subscription, certain vehicle segments and many other services. This slab is intended to collect steady revenue while keeping the consumption engine running. The 40% slab, what we call as demerit or discipline slab, it includes luxury and sin goods like tobacco and many pan products, some of the caffeinated beverages, liquor and high-end luxury items. This is behavioral taxation, which says that indulgence is allowed, but it comes with cost and premium. This slab structure is social engineering in disguise. It protects the poor, empowers the middle class, and discourages harmful habits. GST 2.0 is not just tax, it's a behavioral roadmap which states clearly what India wants and what it wants to regulate. Now let us zoom in on middle class. Almost everything you consume falls under 18%. From weekend dinners to broadband bill, from that new washing machine to insurance premium. Month after month it piles up. Now imagine a household, monthly groceries, school fees, Wi-Fi bill, health cover, and those dinner out. Cumulatively, GST feels like those 100 or even thousands of money every month. No wonder the middle class feels squeezed. And here comes natural frustration. Many people say that I'm already paying income tax, so why GST? Isn't that a double taxation? But here is the reality. The income tax is direct. It cuts straight from your salary. And only about 6 to 7 crore Indians actually pay it. GST is indirect. It shows up wherever the money moves. For example, a train ticket, a haircut, an online subscription, a dinner bill. This means everyone contributes and not just salary taxpayers. Now imagine if India ran only on income tax. A tiny slice of population would have funded all our roads, metros, hospital, expressways and digital infrastructure. That is simply unsustainable. Here is the twist. The government isn't only taking money from you. It is also shaping how you can save. The income tax slabs have already been reduced, and under GST 2.0, your spending choices decides your tax outflow. So the essentials are protected under nil or just 5%, and the indulgence or luxury items is on a higher GST side. So the power is partially on your hand. How and where you spend your money shapes your wallet and also the nation's revenue. And yes, you pay both the income tax and GST. That's the paradox. But it is also a privilege. You are the reason for millions of job creation. Your spending powers industries, and it also sustains the government's revenue. So your real question shouldn't be why am I paying? Rather, it should be am I spending the way that saves money for me and also strengthens my nation? GST reform isn't just about citizens. It's a lifeline for business too. Earlier there were 5 different slabs. It was total chaos. Imagine a shopkeeper selling biscuit and chips. He would never knew which tax implied. They spent more time with lawyers and accounts rather than customers. Paperwork piled up, disputes were endless, and loopholes made envision easy. But with not just 3 slabs, things have changed. It's become more simpler. For small businesses, it's less paperwork, fewer disputes, easier compliance. That means more time to grow. The second main thing is honesty in the market. When rules are clear, envisions drop on its own. More vendors can come into formal economy without fear and confusion. For global investors, confidence grows. When a company is choosing between India and Vietnam or Mexico, they just don't compare labor cost. They ask, is tax system stable? Is it predictable? A simpler GST gives that assurance. So there is more investment, more factories and more jobs. And here is the ripple effect. Your everyday spending that is on pizza, on a phone, on a weekend dinner doesn't stop with you. The money circulates, it funds wages, expands business and powers the economy. So while you only see GST on your bill, the world sees something bigger. India signaling we are serious, professional and more ready for bigger business. In FY 24-25, India collected a record of 22 lakh crore in GST. That's almost double the amount collected in FY 2021, which was 11 lakh crore. On average, the government now allocates about 1 lakh crore every month. But here is the bigger question. What all is the GST money used for? So when you ride a metro or skip those traffics or ride on a new expressway, that is GST at work. When your village gets broadband or when UPI payment works seamlessly even in the remotest area, that digital backbone is funded, that is part of GST collection. Airport, hospital, smart street light, these are not abstract promises. These are visible outcomes of your contribution. Of course, there is leakage and corruption that exists. But if you compare India with decade ago, you will see more connection, more urban and more ready for business. This is why GST is called destination tax. The destination isn't just the good you buy. It is the public goods that you use daily. And now with GST 2.0 simplifying slabs and reducing innovation, the system promises steadier revenue. That stability doesn't just strengthen government finance, it transforms your everyday contribution into something you can see and touch. That is road, a clinic, an airport, a digital service. It is a shared responsibility. Every rupee you pay becomes a part of India's national building story. With GST comes more responsibility on government, and here is efficiency matters a lot. Every rupee collected should translate into better roads, better services, a safer country, a cleaner cities, a good healthcare system, a good education system. As a customer, this is where your role starts. You must stay alert. Do not blindly pay your bills. Question the merchants, check if you are being charged correctly, and understand, be conscious about how your spending is going to change under this GST 2.0. Do not become a passive citizen, become more conscious and active citizen. Because with new change, misuse can happen. For example, a vegetable vendor in Karnataka received a notice of 20 lakh just because UPI transaction crossed that threshold, even though many items sold were tax-free. Food app deliveries are now required to pay 18% GST on delivery fees, a charge most people do not even see, while some restaurants continue charging old incorrect taxes. In Bhopal, a restaurant was fined for charging GST on a bottled water, even when it wasn't applicable. This is where you need to be aware when the prices are changed. The slabs have been shifted, but unless you track your bills, you may be still paying more than you should. Every GST slip is not a receipt, it's a silent contract. When you pay your share, it is government's duty to turn into delivery. So will GST be remembered just as a tax or an invisible engine that truly transformed our India? It is your money, use it wisely.